Welcome to the Laugh, Learn, Love podcast with Mr. and Mrs. Mister. We believe in every season of life you need to laugh, learn, and love. You're listening to episode 41, Single or Married. Is the grass greener on the other side? The Misters are joined with two guests, Bridgett Stigger and Quentin Mumphery. Are you ready to laugh, learn, and love? Welcome to the Laugh, Learn, Love podcast with Mr. and Mrs. Mister. I am your host, Mr. Mister, a.k.a. Jeffrey Mister, and right beside me is my wife of almost 15 years, 2 kids.
Mrs. Mister, a.k.a. Dana Mister, and together we are
the Misters.
Yeah. I am so excited about today's show.
Yes.
So we have two very special guests.
Pew, 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 pew.
We have Bridgett Stigger, officially known as Beagley and Stig.
And check the shirt out too. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or whatever you're listening.
It says, "My Adam is sleeping."
So, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yes, wake up, Adam. And then we also have Pastor Quentin Mumphery.
Mumphery, Quentin,
Mumphery. Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, yes, salute. Yes, good brother. And today we are talking about single or married. Is the grass greener on the other side?
Yes.
Because we know a lot of people have hit us up. A lot of people hit us up and said, like, hey, we love seeing Instagram pictures. I want to be married. I'm ready for, my Eve is sleeping.
I keep trying to tell people, don't believe everything you say on Insta, on that social media.
Yes. And on the flip side of that, I know some married people who are looking and saying, you know what, this boat right here is not for me. I don't know what I signed up for. Let me get ready to jump ship. So today, every episode, we like to laugh, learn, and love. And today, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the real. We're going to talk about the fun. We're going to talk about the crazy, about whether being single or married. And if you're in the middle, we know people that's engaged. You got a sister engaged.
I have two siblings engaged.
Craziness this year. So if you're listening or you're watching on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, whatever you're listening to, thank you for listening. We're going to get to the question today.
So, but you want to introduce our guests?
For sure.
They can tell a little bit more about
for sure.
Yes.
Introduce themselves. Bridgett Stigger. We'll let ladies go first. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And then one fun fact that people may not know about you. Something that we're going to take to the grave, but we're going to get you that.
Wait a minute. If she was going to take it to the grave. Wait. No. If she was going to take it to the grave, it need to continue to go to the grave.
This is not what we're doing. This is a safe place. This is a safe place. This is a safe place.
Okay, so my name is Bridgett Stigger. I am a lifelong Memphian. Love Memphis.
M-Town.
Say that again?
Oh, no. M-Town. I'll say M-Town.
Oh, yeah, M-Town.
You got to throw it up. You can't just bump that.
So I am a lawyer. I've been practicing law for about 10 years now. That brings its own set of challenges as well. As far as like something that's fun about me or interesting or whatever.
Something you're going to take to the grave.
I'm not telling that though. That's not coming out. I like to eat. I don't like bridges. I don't know. You caught me off guard with that.
Oh, stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff today. So okay cool.
All right, Mr. Mumphery.
There you go.
All right. So Quentin Mumphery. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
See, Chicago.
Yes. Chicago love. So I'm the proud pastor and founder of New Hope Covenant Church Chicago.
Yes.
South side of the city. Also do some. I have a consulting company called Chiron Strategies. Mm-hmm. We work with school districts and faith-based institutions from around the country. Been in the educational space in addition to my ministry for about 20 years, and then also adjunct instructor and professor at the college level. So do a little bit of things, and I also published my first book just recently. So
awesome.
Black excellence is in the. Can you smell it?
I can smell it. And let me tell you something else. I heard Bridgett say she's been practicing law for 10 years and he's been doing ministry for 20 years. One thing about Black people, baby, we age gracefully. Okay, y'all look amazing.
Yes. If you listen on the podcast, jump on YouTube real quick.
When I started in ministry,
Jump on YouTube real quick and take these photos. Like you said, black don't crack, baby. This is a great industry here.
Yeah.
And so thank you all for joining today in the conversation. we have two people too, because sometimes you have people who are single, not by choice. As you can tell, these people are accomplished. They look good. You know what I'm saying? They smell like they have things going on for themselves that would make them, I would say, a top candidate being single in that place. So if you're in that place, because a lot of people hit us up like, it's my time, and so this is a place that we can look at and say, hey, these are two good people. They can say, hey, they've seen temptations of it. They've got to the place. We want to get into all those things as well. So yes. So okay, starting off. The reason for this episode too, I was looking at numbers. Like this was maybe 60 years ago. Like marriage rates were like 80%, especially in the Black community, like 80%. Now the numbers have dropped tremendously. No matter whether you're faith based or not, typically divorce rates are typically the same thing. So now, like we said before, so let's just start off first. How is it being single today in today's age? Bridgett just rolled eyes. How is it being single today?
So I'll start.
Yes.
It's hard. I'll say for me, it is hard, and this is even pre-pandemic, because I think the pandemic added on another set of struggles. Just the being alone, especially when we were on kind of like lockdown. Mm-hmm. That was hard, not just having any companionship or anything like that. So it's a little hard, not having someone to celebrate the victories, the wins, things of that nature. So it has some good things to it too, but it's definitely like on a scale of 1 to 10, because I know you like that.
You got my question. Yes, it's coming up.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say it's about an 8 for me.
Oh, okay. All right. So 10 being great and 1 being
no.
10 being tough. 10 being
tough.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, cool. We can pass the same question too to Q.
So I would say it is a challenge. I think that one of the myths is that I'll speak from the perspective of a man. I hear people say things like, well, you're an accomplished, educated Black man. It should be easy for you. There's so many women out here. And I said that, if you're a person who just wants to just be with someone, just to be with someone, then yes, it's easy. But if you're someone who is looking for something specific and you want it to be done the right way, because I've been on both sides of it. I've been married once. I've been through that, right? And so I'm not just eager to just jump out there into anything. It's got to be right. So it can't be a challenge because there's a lot of variables that go into it. Then also being in ministry as a layer to it, right? You have some who it's two different. I've experienced two different extremes. You have some women who that's very attractive to. You have the whole thing of women that want, which I haven't encountered a lot of that. I got to be honest. I have not encountered
you in my questions, brother.
That women are just lined up to be the first lady.
Yes.
That's not, in my experience, that's not the case. I have found that especially a lot of younger women are intimidated by it because they feel like they'll be living in a fishbowl. That there's these expectations that will be on them and all kind of things. So I've seen these different extremes. So there's a lot of variables to it. And then the nature of my life is, sometimes my schedule ain't my own.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Time piece of it, right? So when I have dated, there are instances where that's been a challenge. Because women, y'all like your time, right? And so
respect my time. You respect my time.
So, so it comes with its own set of challenges. Yeah. But like you said, you cited the statistics earlier. 60 years ago, the marriage rate, especially in the Black community, Black people went from having the highest rate of marriage of any demographic group in the country to now having the lowest rate of marriage of any demographic group in the country. And I think there's a lot of reasons why. So I don't want to jump too far ahead. I'm sure you're going to address some of these things in the show. Me personally, there's a lot of challenges to it. I wouldn't say, are there options? Yeah, but I'm not looking for options. I'm looking for what the help suitable, right? God looked at and said, it's not good that the man be alone. I'll make help suitable or help meet for him. The old King James said, help meet. And Black folk, we done made it one word. I need to help meet. But that is meet or help that is suitable. And everybody ain't suitable.
Yes. You listen. Oh, you're teaching here. I jumped the gun because I wanted to
I was about to say, Jeff was so excited. I was working on being,
You did all for yourself.
So, but Jeff was so excited about the learn component. So we're grateful we jumped in, but we do definitely want to make sure we help somebody.
We want to help somebody.
Yes,
help somebody. Help somebody. Help them to help us to help them.
Right. So it's not really a left component, but it's called Mr. Fam Help Me. MF.
You got to read it like you say on the paper.
And so you guys will be able to help today. So basically it says, I want a husband or do I?
All right. That's not title. It's the title. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Listeners, I'm a 37-year-old successful HR director with no kids and I want a husband. Or do I? I see pictures of couples on Instagram and I want somebody to share life with. Go on trips, share work promotions, and binge Netflix shows. Even to have somebody to put down on my emergency contact list besides my mom. Ain't no wrong with your mama being on your I still put my mama beside. I put you too, but I put my mama just in case I can't get in contact with you. But anyway.
Just finish reading this letter first.
But I also might be set in my ways just a little, so I want somebody with me that won't ask me to change too much. Am I wrong for thinking this way? If there's someone out there like this for me, MF, Mr. Fam, help me.
So MF, help me question of the week, right? Thank you for writing in too. If you have a question, please write in. You can find us on Instagram or YouTube or the Mr. and Mrs. Mr. at gmail.com. You send in your questions, your MF help me questions to us. So, all right, we'll let our guests jump in first.
Yeah, we'll let y'all go first.
Jump in first. Right. MF help me. So
a 37-year-old lady, she wants to be married or
does
she has no kids,
very
successful, and basically, she's just trying to figure out. But this is just inevitable. As we grow older, we do become more set in our ways, right? So it's kind of like, her whole thing is she wants somebody to accept her for her, but she's trying to see, like, is she wrong for thinking that way? So,
okay.
So, first of all, just about everything she said was me, except the age.
Okay, you can relate then. This is real advice then.
I can relate, and so of course, you're single for so long, you're used to doing things your way. You're used to going when you want to go, going where you want to go, and you don't have to check in. So those are things, of course, that will kind of help us get set in our ways. Now, I would say this, and this is kind of like random, but I watched this reality show, Married at First Sight. It's crazy.
That's what I heard. I haven't watched it yet. I want to check it out.
Crazy. But here's the thing about it. Watching people, because, she mentioned seeing Instagram pictures. You see the highlights, you see the reels, all of the stuff that looks good, but you don't see the day-to-day. And with couples, as they are, learning, they literally see each other for the first time at the altar. It's nothing I would do, but you see these people go through. He's like, go through getting to know each other, and in there you see some things that you realize, I do that? Like, she got mad about that? And then you think, wait a minute, Bridgett, I got mad about something real simple and real basic. So even though there are some things that, I want someone to accept me for who I am, there's some things I got to change.
Ooh.
Being able to see other people, because you don't see it in yourself. And you can see it in somebody else and call them out, but then you have to self-reflect and you're like, okay, I need to make some changes. So is she wrong for wanting someone to accept her? I'm not going to say she's wrong, but I will say that because you don't want to have to change completely to be with someone. You don't want that either. But I do think that there's always room for self-reflection and there's room to grow. So, girl, we're going to get there together.
Reach out for Bridgett now. All right, Q, you got some advice? MF, help me.
I would say one, we have to realize that marriage can either be the coming together of two lives or the collision of two histories.
Ooh, hold on, whoa. You were just about to say something else past that. Pause for a moment. Somebody listening was running on a treadmill and almost fell off. Could you repeat what you just said again?
So I often like to say marriage can either be the coming together of two lives or the collision of two histories.
Ooh, that's good.
when you get married, and the Bible says it, and you all know this from y'all do ministry with married couples, two become one flesh.
Yes.
That, that specifically refers to the sexual act, but there's also a process of becoming one that's not always comfortable. And I think we have to also realize marriage is not for the selfish. So is a person wrong for saying, I don't want to change? Well, if you don't want to change at all, then don't get married. Now, saying that I want someone who's going to accept me for who I am, then that's different, right? So I think there is a balance. There's this fine line between someone accepting me for who I am and someone trying to change me to their specifications. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that we got to realize is a lot of people get hooked on potential of a person rather than the reality of a person. And so we can't fall in love with the idea of a person or the potential of a person and not fall in love with the reality of a person, because then when you find out who they really are and they take the mask off, you're going to be upset and disappointed. And that goes on both sides, right? You got to be the real you and you got to accept the real them. But that's where the selective process goes, right? That you have to know, is this person suitable for me? But I would say that to every person who's questioning that, I think the other thing is, we are getting married later as a society.
That's right.
The average age of marriage in America as a whole, I believe, is about 5 years later.
Yeah. It was
than it was like 50 years ago, right? So people most commonly, I think of my parents. My dad's going to be with the Lord now, but they were married for 50 years when my dad passed away.
Wow.
They got very young, right? And many generations were, young, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, right? That was the kind of window, 50, 60, 70 years ago, that 18 to 22 window was, prime marriage. Folks were considered over the hill if they were 25 and were not married, right? Now a 25-year-old wants to be married. People are like, what you getting married so early for? You should wait, live your life, right?
Yes.
And so there's a good and a bad side to that. I think the positive side, and you all have been married for a while, so you've experienced some of this, that when you're young, you have the opportunity to form together, grow together, and develop together. When you're older, you are more steady in your ways, right? So in this season of my life, I don't have the patience I had when I was 20. I just don't, right? Yeah. And so the good side of that is I make decisions quicker, especially when it comes to dating. In dating, when I was young, I may be like, okay, she a little bit crazy, but maybe I could change her. I ain't trying to.
But now it's like, I know she crazy. I'm done.
I got a kratom. See, I got a Holy Ghost and a kratom. and my nose is real refined to sniff out crazy. And I can sniff out crazy in the first date, first couple conversations, and I can make decisions and cut stuff real quick. Sometimes it hurts folks' feelings, but the reality is I don't want to waste time. And so I think the other thing is you do become more set in your ways. You gotta, as you're older, you gotta ask yourself, what am I willing to give up of myself? Because marriage is a selfless thing. The Bible says that husbands love your wives as Christ married the church. Well, that's sacrificial, right? Yeah. And so if you're not willing to sacrifice anything to be with somebody, then you don't really want to be married. But if you're willing to say, I just want somebody who is going to accept me for me, I'm willing to make some sacrifice. I realize there's going to be some adjustments. I'm an unmarried man. I'm used to having my own space, right? I'm used to coming in the house and it's quiet, So I think those things I realize because I'm set in my ways in a lot of ways, there's going to have to be some adjustments, but I'm willing to make it because I want a family. So I think it's a matter of what are you willing to give up to have? And another thing is, do you really want a family? We can't assume everyone really wants, the spouse and kids. Now, if that is what you want, then I would suggest to the person, ask God to really prepare your heart and do some self-inventory to say, what of myself am I willing to adjust? Because you got to define what is your core, right? Yeah. What is the core of who I am? And then what's just the habits I've picked up over time? Because the habits you done picked up over time, you can change that stuff. Yeah. But the core of who you are should not change for a person.
Yeah, here's some, woo! Yes. MF helped me. So I know they helped me. They helped me, so hopefully, she's helping that. You got anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree. I definitely believe that marriage is definitely selfless. And so I know we were one of those couples. They did get married
back in the 40s. We was in this thing. I work at the meal.
So it'd be 15 years for us, and so this July, and so it's one of those things that. It was really us coming together, but we didn't have nothing. So we was able to grow and, literally we had nothing. Jump quit his job like 5 months after we got married. You know what I'm saying?
You get him first.
So I was like, this is like Bobby, and then he done quit his job. Like, are you kidding me? But, but it was growing pain. We didn't have no responsibilities. We didn't have debt. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, okay, whatever. As long as, I see you growing and all of that. So, but now is just totally different. I mean, like if I were, I can't, being 37, I have definitely, even being married with him, I've got some more set in my ways and established. But
one or two things.
Yeah, but he appreciate me for who I am, but I do realize there was some things about me that I did have to change. So, I mean, because, and he had to change some things as well about himself.
Not at all.
No. I think the one thing about that, though, I think there's a difference between someone completing you versus someone refining you.
Right.
Yes. Y'all take it. Hold on. I'm sorry, Q. Y'all make sure you keep your pen handy for this episode today. He dropping some. I'm sorry. I want somebody just like to fall off the treadmill right now. I'm sorry. Keep on going, bro. I'm sorry. I just
a lot of people look at marriage like, I want somebody to kind of complete my puzzle. Mm-hmm. You should be whole before you're with a person. Now, they will refine you, because if you didn't need to be refined, God wouldn't need to give you companionship. I think that, you need a person who help. And if you just think you don't need anything, then you got a pride issue.
Yeah. Oh. No, that's not the case. That's the case. I think this kind of boils out to the Disney disaster, right? This is what I coined. I don't know if the first person to say this, whatever. In Disney, in most of Disney movies coming up, right? There's a princess that's in the valley somewhere broken down, and there's a prince that comes by and scoops her up, and then her life changes. Cinderella, the other little European girl, a couple of the ones, but y'all know this. But I'm saying, like, and so many times, if you're not careful, you can come up believing that my happiness will come when a man, or maybe a female, reverse if that's the case, comes into your life and comes and scoop you up. And on those times, I've never seen the princess change to something else. So, like, they were just who they were. The guy was there, Rapunzel, like, let me climb your extensions and get there. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, and let me find you at this place. And I think many times we have equated that to being what we desire in our relationships, of like, most people have a list for who they want and desire in somebody else, but not necessarily willing to have that person's list be for them. You know what I'm saying? Just like you guys just named just a second ago, of like, I want somebody to be this. Or I hear, like some of my cousins, like, you know what? I want a brother 6'8". He got to be, chocolate black. He got to have abs. He got to have all those things. And I'm like, what are you? I know what I'm saying? Like, what also are you bringing to the table too? That why would that person select you in a sense too? So I think it's getting out of the mindset of somebody coming and scooping up me from wherever I am, whether I'm content or not content or whatever, and completing me as their role for the rest of life. And I just appear like I'm just here in that place. So I think, being able to touch that, to where whether you're single, married, whatever, like being able to grow together. Like we started, we were 22-ish or so, 22. And so like not having anything helped us to grow to that point. But like most people now, you know what I'm saying? Like it's later. So it's like you have a good job. I got a 401k. I got you know what I'm saying? I got things like that aren't easily movable as you get to that place. So yes. So yeah. So it may have helped me. So hopefully we've helped this sister writing. If you have anything too that you have a question on too. So all right. Every episode we like to laugh, learn, and love. Get into the learn portion that you guys have shared how it is to be single now. We've kind of shared a little bit about being married. I know that was a flip part of that. For single people, how is it being married? How is it being married? So like, what would you say? And what would you say is a short blurb for describing marriage? What would you say?
I believe, like we discussed, marriage is definitely selfless. What you put in is what you get out of it. It is, there are good moments, there are crazy moments, there are fun moments, there are moments where you're like, whoa, what have I got myself into? And there are moments like, oh my God, I cannot live without this person. But I believe communication is very vital. And just like, it's just a continued, like just growing, like you never stop growing, you never stop learning about that person. And I would say this for people, like, if you ever get to a point where you just like, you know, I don't know if I could continue on, you know, there's always the option of like counseling and that sort of thing. So I know when I got into the marriage, it was like, I'm in it for life. Like it's truly to death to do us part. And so even when Jeffrey's getting on my last nerve, which never happens, you know, it's just like one of those things where I'm just like, okay, God, like, and like, seriously, God has saved us. Like, and that's why I tell people, and Bridgett, I'm so happy you mentioned that, because I tell this share this all the time with people, like, of course, like, and I've tried my best to be transparent on social media, right? But you can't put everything about your life on social media, right? Because if you do that, then I don't need people going to DM and Jeff in the inbox because they feel like we have issues, right? But what I am saying is, like, people.
We don't want Jeff to get hit with no hot grits.
I don't like grits like that.
So, but people, and that's one thing. We was just reading an article about that this morning. No, it was a devotional, but about how like social media has create insecurities in people because they see it and they compare themselves. And I believe it's so unfair. Like I love social media. Don't get me wrong. I believe it's a way to connect and everything. But what I would love for people to put in their minds is what you see on social media, you get a small, like 1% of people's lives. Like, and when I say 1%, is literally 1%. Of course, people gonna put all the good stuff on there, smiling, hey, you know, picture, selfie, all that stuff. Of course, like, you know, it's 1%. So I think social media is good, but I do want us to realize is you get 1% of people's lives. So again, like I just think, you know, marriage is great. But, you know, but it has its challenges. And I would be a fool if I tell you, oh, yeah, you're going to get in. It's going to be great. It's going to be peachy. You know, Cinderella, happy ever after. No, it's not.
The Disney disaster.
So, yes. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the same bucket. I'll say some same things. I think that it is most people, right? So, like, most people want to start working out on January 1. You hear people all the time. And I think it's the same. It equates to the same thing, right? So, it's like, as long as it's comfortable, I think it's good, but I think once it's uncomfortable, do you have the grit, desire, the push to keep going through what doesn't feel good and what's not comfortable? If you don't, if you always setting goals and you can't get past those goals when it rains, when something happens, then I would say continue to work before you get married so that you have that grit when you get married when it comes up. Because like on those things of marriage, like there's an infatuation phase. Like when you meet somebody and you're like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like you're on the phone like that, and it's just there's a piece to it that you know what I'm saying, that person can't do anything wrong. Like you can walk in the bathroom on them you was like, oh, this smells delicious. You know, you got
no, ain't never did that.
but some people do. No. Some people do. Some people have not literally, but I'm saying, you know, like there's a thing of like they cannot do anything wrong because you're in that infatuation phase. But I think once people get outside that infatuation phase, they wish for that again outside the real reality of responsibility and all those things that are going on. So I just think it takes maturity, it takes growth, and then just a willingness to continue to push. If that's not your characteristic right now, when you're single, then get those first before you get into it because you're setting yourself up. And so, yeah, that's what I put there. Jumping into now, okay, I hear from this, right? So dating, you guys have given a little vision into what's that like in terms of this. Economically unattractive is a term that is out there right now. I'm going to say it again. Let me pause for dramatic effect. Economically unattractive.
What does that mean?
It means that people, is that like a
so like they unattractive, like they don't make enough money?
He ain't messing with no.
He ain't messing with no broke. Yes, thank you. I think Kanye didn't put it down.
Yeah, he put it up.
So, but this is a huge thing. If you listen to our shows, I listen to a lot of people now, and maybe that's a byproduct of there's a certain image. If you listen to what's the guy's name now who is always talking to women most of the time? Kevin Samuels, I think his name, right?
Kevin Samuels,
yeah, Kevin Samuels. Watch any of his thing. I don't know if you have you seen him? Okay, cool. Google him in just a minute. Well, you'll just see. He well, not right now. He has a huge platform now of talking to women about, or men too. I've heard him even like, you know, tell another guy too. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm making is economic.
Is that the guy that told the lady at best you're 7?
Yes, that's exactly.
At best 5.
Yes.
Is that what it was? He was rude, but okay.
Yeah, so yeah, he goes in at a whole nother level point.
Oh, okay, so okay.
Yeah. Right. So the point I'm making is though, there's a big push for people being I'm saying, hey, you may have other things, but the main thing they're looking for is being economically attractive. And I guess it's the flip side of that.
So
right?
I guess the flip side to that is this from a lady who is economically attractive, or is this from a person who like, I've gotten that, but I want somebody to be economically attractive to bring me up?
Typically, I think B. It's typically like, I want to get flued out, quote unquote. I want to get flued out to different places. I want to have situations. So I'm looking for somebody that can spend all the time with me, but also can make six figures, and also, put it down in the bedroom, can also be a great father or a mother or whatever in the situation, can also, be at church, and is a whole list of those things. What are y'all thoughts of being economically, what's it? Oh, I just came with a new coin. Economically yoked in a situation.
Equally yoked.
Yes. So I think in terms of now being even economically yoked, right? So your take first. How big of that is that for you in terms of like possibly meeting somebody? Could you seriously date somebody who makes way less than you in terms of that? So your thoughts first on just the topic of being economically unattractive. We're just throwing it to you first.
I think I would say for me, the issue is not so much a matter of how much a woman makes, as much as it is what's her mindset about money. And what I mean by that is I've seen people who make a lot of money but spend it all. They don't know how to live within their means. They're always trying to impress people. They're in a whole lot of debt. And so their standard of living, their quality of life is poor, even though they make a lot of money. But then on the flip side, I've seen people who don't make a whole lot of money, but they're very comfortable because they know how to manage it. And so for me, the concern is more not so much how much a woman makes, but what's her mindset on money, right? Because if you make a whole lot of money, but she spends a lot and she's irresponsible, then that just means that when we come together, she's going to see it as, oh, I just got more money to blow off. Right? So, but my thing is, if a woman doesn't make if she doesn't make a whole lot of money, but she's responsible, she has a smart mindset on money, and she's managing her life on her own, even though she doesn't make a whole lot of money, then that means we can manage well together. But I think to your whole thing about people being flued out and stuff, I think that whole conversation has shifted, especially in the Black community over the last 30 years, because historically it was the expectation of the man being the breadwinner, upgrading a woman's life. But I think what we've seen, especially in the last probably 20, 30 years, is Black women are now making more money. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the country. Over the last 30, 40 years, Black women outpace Black men with college education 2 to 1, right? So that means for every 2 Black women that graduate college with a college degree, there's 1 Black man on average. So I think this whole equation of economically equally yoked income-wise, right, is shifted because there are a lot more women who make more money than men now. So I think the conversation is a little different. I've seen some men who become kept men, right? I've seen some brothers who become stay-at-home dads. I couldn't do it, but I've seen some that do. I'm like, one of my mentors used to have a saying that whatever worked for your house might tear mine up, and whatever worked for my house might tear yours up. So if it works for y'all, God bless you. But it couldn't work for me. But the conversation has shifted. But for me personally, my concern is more, what is the mindset about money? Is this somebody who got to be in the Gucci store every week and they can't afford it, right? And so they maxing out credit cards. Are they irresponsible? Are they trying to eat crab legs every day rather than cooking sometime, right? Those kind of things. That's the kind of stuff I look at.
Bridgett, same question. Could you get your guy flued out? Could you have him flued out to see you? What is your take on being?
No. I could, but I'm not. So I really agree with a lot of what he said. I've never been one who looks for somebody who is of a certain stature. Because let me be honest, some of the Black men who get to a certain level, they are just real arrogant, and I absolutely hate arrogance. And so I don't look for someone who's super, super wealthy. However, I don't want someone who doesn't really have a lot of drive or goals or anything. And honestly, at this point in my life, I'm just a little bit over 30. I don't have the ability to look for someone or to go for someone with potential. And so I do want to be comfortable. I'm not trying to get flued out. I'm not trying to find anybody out either. I want to be able to, live a good, comfortable life, to travel some. So I think that you should be economically yoked. What that looks like, I'm not saying necessarily the same dollar amount, just within a few thousands, give or take. I want to, as a woman, I want to feel like I am going to be provided for and secured. I can take care of myself, but should anything happen to me, I want to make sure that my husband has the ability to keep us afloat. And so with that comes the mindset of being able to save. And ain't nothing wrong with crab legs, because I like to get crab legs.
Your crab leg left.
I'm looking at Kroger. I'm seeing when they're on sale. I'm going out sometimes too, but there are ways to do everything. There's a way to live a life comfortably and not break the bank. But then there are also going to be times when you just want to do it up, when you just want to splurge a bit. And so I want somebody who has the same mindset as I do. I don't think it's necessarily the same dollar amount, but the same mindset.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because Jeff and I are completely end of the spectrum. We are totally end of the spectrum, and so it just goes to show it can work when two people are two end of the spectrum. Because Jeff, before Jeff used to take peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to work every single day. It was peanut butter and jelly sandwich and Doritos, like seriously, no lie, no shame at all. And Jeffrey is such a saver, like. He counts every penny, right? And so, but I'm on the other, I want to say I'm not on the complete end, but I do see value. Like cause for me, I'm like, I do see value, and I'm going to make sure all my bills are taken care of, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Like that he don't have to worry about that. But I am saying, if I do go out to dinner or something like that, or if when I'm out vacations, I spare no expense, especially with the kids and all of that stuff. So it is a balance, but that's something that, again, I like what you said earlier. What may work over there in your household may not necessarily work at mine, because I know some people who combine all the income and stuff like that together, right? Well, for us, we split everything down 50-50, and we make sure the kids and stuff like that is good. So again, I think it's one of those things that is you can have a good balance, as long as both people communication again.
Throw it out the backboard for me.
It's so important. Go ahead.
No, that's right. I was agree with what you're saying. Yeah, of finding what works, just like you mentioned, like Dana mentioned, of finding what works for you in your household. I was talking to a older couple, which you need to have them on the show too. Like they were saying, they were like, listen, she should never even have to reach for nothing ever in her life. And I was like, wow. But that works for them. To where, like he was saying, he saw his father do that for his mom. And so his thing is like, you know what? Like finances on me, bills on me, everything on me. Whatever you make, you could just go to Gucci and just do whatever you want. It's like, wow. So, man. So, yeah, don't talk to us in that way. Don't put that in the house. Don't put that in the atmosphere.
And I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm missing out on something.
Some ideas.
Don't. Exactly. Let's end this conversation. I don't need this toxic behavior in my life. I don't need this in my life. But no, but that works for them. Like he takes pride in that side. And so our plan that you mentioned right there works for us. I just think the main thing is being able to communicate that. I think most people go off what they've seen before or what they've seen on reality shows, and they're thinking, Darren's wife, don't have to pay for nothing. So that may work for Darren and them, but like you have to be able to communicate what your expectation is. And like the lady from the letter this morning is like being willing to hear and also listen to. So not just be able to talk and say my point should be my point coming in. I saw my mom and them do it. That's the way it needs to be done. Like being able to find a rhythm that works for you guys, not your friends. But
But I think another thing too, one thing about when you transition, from single to, engage and being married, you want to build something together, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's my whole thing is like, we're building this together. So I do believe it is unfair, especially if women or men expect for people to be economically attractive and they're not. I do think that's unfair. I mean, I'm just like,
there's a lot of women that
are you sure about?
Listen, please, if you are fellas listening or watching right now, you don't have to drop no names because I will. You can add them, but I won't suggest.
So I just think it's unfair. I think it's one of those things that people should want to build. And I think what Bridgett was saying earlier about being self-reflection of yourself, like, man, how it's unfair for you to put all of these expectations on somebody and then you're not living up to the same expectations. I think that's completely unfair. I mean, because like I said, Jeff, like, he quit his job after what?
It was like a few months.
Yes, and I was the only person that was working. And so, but it was cool though, because I'm like, we're building this together. Like, he still contributes to the household because, again, I said he was a saver. So when stuff hit the fan, like, nothing went missing. We were 23 and hanging in there. Like, so,
No doubt about it. And I was like, you know what? What's the minimal amount of money I can live off for the month? And I was already good. So it wasn't a change. I was like, well, shoot, you got some bread. I'm good to go. So now switching into this is a question too of, I know you guys are successful in single, and so you never know what happens this year, next week. You never know what may happen, right? Prenup wise, is that something? We're going there today, guys. Prenup there, and so we didn't have a prenup coming up because that $72, I was going to just dig it up in the ground. I was good. That was like, if you can get that $72, you can find out where it is, then that's good to go. We didn't have a prenup at that point that we were coming up. But this is the flip side that I hear from single people who are successful, who have, their hands in different ventures, stocks, different things. And you see a lot of people breaking up now. Like, I just saw Jennifer Lopez in...
I know, Alice Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly. But they weren't married. I don't think
they were just together, right?
They were engaged.
They were engaged.
Yeah. So people are not making it. We named the statistics, and so
would you guys do a prenup?
Yes, there we go.
A prenup or post-nup now because it's a post-nup.
It's post-nup? Yeah. Oh, so we can go get a post-nup?
They have post-nups now.
They have post-nups now. No, we're not getting a post-nup. But let me tell you right now, that is over.
Post-nup set up right there. So prenup, Quentin, Bridgett, yes, no, why not?
Oh, I honestly don't know. And the lawyer in me, of course, would be screaming, yes, protect yourself. I don't practice family law, but I have served as a divorce referee, and I see people who get divorced all the time, whether it be a few years or many years. I see what they go through. That is the hardest part of the divorce, settling up the assets. And so, that side of me is like, oh, you for sure should do a prenup. But then the side of me that's like, the Lord is going to send me the one for me, and we're going to be forever. And, I don't want to go into this with the expectation that we're going to break up. That side of me is saying no. And so, like, seriously, they're both sides that make a whole lot of sense. And I'm just somewhere in the middle trying to figure it out. So I don't know the answer to that question yet. I would hope that, whenever you say you don't know what's going to happen next week, maybe.
I'm going to change that. I'm going to say right now, he's proposed, you said yes. He's saying, we get married right now in the next 5 minutes. Are you signing in the prenups right here? You can sign it or not. At this moment, I know you may change tomorrow. What would you, if you had to pick a decision right now?
Because where I was going with this was, hopefully, the Lord will send me somewhere, and then over time you get to learn that person's character, and you see their commitment to God. And so, because that's first, you got to be committed to God first, and I think everything else flows thereafter. And I think that would give me a little bit more clarity, number one, whether I should even be marrying the person, but two, if I feel like I need that prenup. And so, if you ask me, because you just really want me to answer this question.
I do. What would you pick right now? I'm going to give you leeway to change later. Yeah.
Say that again?
So the thing is, just what you pick just right now. Tomorrow you may have a whole different answer. So the way you feeling right now on this episode right now, If you had to pick one of them, you would okay. You would say no. Okay.
Okay. All right.
No judgment either way. No judgment either way. So
all right, okay. Quinn, Q.
So I say I have thought about this recently. Like, I've been through a divorce, right?
Oh, so, yes.
Did you guys have a prenup the first time or no?
No. And thankfully it was a fairly smooth process. We didn't have kids together.
Okay. So that's huge, yeah.
And it was pretty easy in terms of assets. I was already a homeowner, and so was she. So she kept her house, I kept mine. Okay. So it was
it was very amicable. So yeah.
Well, that part, yeah.
That part.
So I think that what I think about this, I mean, I am a homeowner, and I have 2 LLCs, 2 companies. So it's like I think about, okay,
you got a lot of invested.
My interest, right? In that sense, I'm not a lawyer, but I got lawyers in my family, and so I'm always thinking about that side of like, but and then having been through a divorce, part of me is like, well, but then the other part of me is like, you know what? But you can't say that you were blindsided. I think that there's 2 great snitches in life: time and character. Time and character will snitch on you every time, and I believe that if you can discern the character of a person going in, I think that it tells some signs that even if the marriage did not work out, is this the kind of person that when they're angry, they're gonna go for blood? Because I think one of the things is that's why you gotta get to know a person in all their emotional states. We like the warm fuzzies and let's get up and take the pictures and we cute. Going back to what Dana mentioned earlier about social media, which is dangerous. But have you seen this person? How do they act when they're angry? 2 times when people really tell you the unadulterated truth, when they're mad at you and when they're drunk.
Yep, sure is.
Right? Yeah. And so you get them drunk or get them mad, and they're going to tell you what they really think of you, right? And so if you've seen this person angry and they show a very strong vindictive side, right? That if I'm angry, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna just do whatever I got to do to hurt you and get you, then that's a flag that you need to pay attention to, right? And so I think, the Holy Ghost side of me is like, the Lord gonna make sure I get it right this time. The Lord tried to warn me last time, I ain't listen.
Oh.
Make sure I get it right this time, because I'm gonna listen to the Lord. I'm gonna listen to Jesus this time. My Holy Ghost is gonna work real good. And so, part of me says no, because I know that I'm gonna get it right this time. And I know that I'm going to marry a woman who has real character and who that would not be an issue with. So, that's kind of,
That's a good point. Dana, if we could go back now, if we met at this point now, if we didn't get married at the beginning part, would you want to sign a prenup now? Or would you?
Nope.
Jack, you agree?
So you said no.
I said no.
Why not? Why would you not want to sign a prenup? No, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you to sign a prenup. I'm trying. This is my hosting.
No, I agree with everything they stated. I believe it definitely goes back to those seriously about. I trust myself enough to know to judge character, and so my thing is, which I say this though. People can change. I mean, especially when you go through, but I believe you should know the person well enough before you get married. You know what I'm saying? To be able to say, okay, you know what? Like, even if something should happen, we'd be amicable in this situation or whatnot. But no, I'm not signing no prenup.
Not signing one?
Would you?
I was just trying. I didn't want to impact your decision all the way.
Just answer the question.
Ain't nothing wrong with your thought. We're gonna go to commercial real quick now. No. I know. This is a good question. I don't know. Like, it's tough for me to answer because it's hard for me to take away the time that we've had already. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to like meet you there. Like, give me a prenup. You know what I'm saying? So. I think, I don't know, like, I can see both of what all 3 of you guys have said in terms of like listening to signs, like definitely anger, or let's go get some margaritas at the taco and see what's going on, just to kind of hear what's happening. But I think I would say no. I'm just trying to think through anything. It's hard for me to take away because I've been seeing you for like 15 years we've been like dating together at least. So yeah, it's hard for me to separate that from this side. So I would say no. It would be interesting to see in a different, like if we could see a different world. Like, I don't know. So I would hope I would say no. Is that I feel some type of way about your response. I feel your body language giving me some type of response back to that place. So yes, okay, and then Postnup. So we can go today. We can go to you. It ain't open today, is it? I don't even know how Postnup works. You just said that's like
okay.
That's all.
Yeah, we can go do a Postnup. Yeah,
I want my $72. That's what they do. You're not getting my $72.
I'm gonna tell you what this Postnup gonna say. You may not like it.
No. No. I'm thinking about how I would hope that people, like Dr. Dre's. I don't know if they're divorced now. I know y'all seen the news. Dr. Dre's like won $2 million per month, and I think.
But that was a hurt thing. I think
most definitely. Yeah, definitely.
That was a hurt call. Mm-hmm. I don't think. Yeah. I think she was just trying to hurt him. I don't think she got it, but she didn't get it though, did she?
I mean, he stroked out. He had some kind of something. It's just a little something. I don't know all the details, but yeah, just getting there. So okay, talk about economics. Getting into now, who approaches who in terms of being single? Dana shot at me. I don't know if y'all know the story. You don't know the story? Oh, we're gonna do a whole episode on how this because the memory serves different on different accounts on very specific
I did not shoot my shot. I may have flirted, but I did not shoot my shot because I don't approach men by no means.
Well, the lie detector.
Hold on, back it up. I may flirt.
Okay,
but we were flirting. But I did not shoot my shot.
Okay, hold on. Let me listen. I've been in a lot of confidence help me. Explain to our audience what's the difference between flirting and shooting your shot. What is the difference between those two?
I believe flirting is.
I'm close to the mic too.
Flirting is so Jeff used to work in a computer lab at Ole Miss. So I used to
just
go
working away.
And I'd be like, guess who? Like that.
Hold on, do it again.
So I'd be like, guess who?
I'd be like, the same person the last 72 times that it came.
And but I didn't say, hey, Jeff, you gonna go out with me. I did not do that. I did not do that. But I did say, or I'd be like, hey, you need a ride to your car, that sort of thing. So I flirted, but I did not say, Jeff, did I not ask you out?
Hold on.
Did I ask you out?
I'm just, okay. Well, no, you asked me out, but what I'm saying is, I just want to know for my clarity's sake, I'm sure people are listening to. I see Bridgett get close to the screen now. They probably ask this question. Well, Bridgett, go ahead, throw your question out.
Shooting your shot may have looked a little bit differently back then, Danny. You might have shot your shot.
Oh,
I did not shoot. I was flirting.
I don't know. I wouldn't consider that shooting a shot. I think shooting a shot is when you just verbally say,
yes.
Hey, this is what I want.
Yes.
Right? I think that's what that means now. But I think because women, we are becoming a little bit more bold and a little bit more aggressive. But I think back then, 15 years ago, I don't feel like women were as bold. And so even though
you're like, hold on, let me tell you about.
He said, I just
say more quick. Say more about it.
Woo. I think that for a certain period of time, that certain acts may have been, because you're showing a lot of.
Well, in the South too, so.
It is. It's true. Very true. Good point.
Yep.
We were in the South.
And so I think the constant attention giving is a way of shooting shots. She may not have been, there wasn't a layup, but she was far back.
It was still.
I think, given y'all's context in the South, especially, then that was probably closer to shooting a shot.
Yo!
That's what I'm saying. If you were somewhere else, right? If you were like up here, or maybe like New
Chicago,
York, that
or New York, or LA.
But I think, given that the South, women in the South tend to be a little more
reserved,
yeah, right, yeah, So I think for a Southern woman, that was probably it may not have been exactly shooting your shot, but what you did was you took the little Nerf rim and bought it to him.
Shoot it in here. Shoot it in this side. Here you go. This is open. This is open. I like that analogy. I like that. So listen. I just asked questions, and you got that. Are you ready to move forward in life?
So I shot my shot. Okay.
There it is.
But it worked out. There
it is. So I was actually, thank you. That's the perfect segue to what I was going to ask in terms of now. Are you all open to the lady shooting her shot? I don't know, Pastor P, I don't know if you want to open this up. It may open up that door's box for you. And then Bridgett, too, on the flip side for you, if you're saying, hey, like I see somebody, they match the characteristics, I feel like we could grow together. All right, look, he ain't asking me to get flued. I ain't flowing. We got the nice little thing. Like he bought me a little Delta elephant or something. Like,
or Bridgett, have you ever shot your shot?
Good question.
So I don't think I have.
Dana didn't think she did either. She always indicated she's living her life in a lot.
Like being in the pandemic, it's hard to, we're not getting out, not going places. I'm going to work. I go to the grocery store with the mask on. Even though guys like, oh, you fine. You don't know what I look like. But anyway.
I bet you got a beautiful smile.
And I'm home, so you don't meet people. So I got on Bumble. And the thing with Bumble is...
Okay, hold on. Back it up. What's this now?
Bumble.
Okay, what's Bumble?
It's a dating app.
Oh, okay. So now it's Bumble. I remember it used to be, what is it? Tinder, and then
that's still a thing, yeah.
Okay.
And so
eHarmony, that's what I'm thinking about, yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But so I got on Bumble, and the thing with Bumble is the women make the first move.
So you gotta shoot your shot on it then.
So I had gotten on it before, like when you first get on it, you get that notification that you have to be the first person to reach out. I forgot. By the time I got done signing up, and, I select the pictures because I'm trying to look the cutest, on my photos. And I go through all this, and then you swipe in, and you're like, oh, okay, he's attractive. Okay. And then anybody that you match with, if you all both match, then you're in this separate space where you can message each other. Well, I forgot that I had to make the first move. And so I'm just sitting there waiting like, you swipe me, you better say something. And you only have 24 hours. And if you don't say anything after 24 hours, they're gone. So I'm sitting there waiting. And ain't nobody said nothing to me. Like, why you gonna swipe me and you ain't saying nothing to me? And
so it's an app intentionally made for the women to make the... Really?
You gotta think why though, because men, we gonna be firing them up. He like, if I shoot 300 shots, I can at least get 26 that are
really?
So women probably were being pound.
And other apps, and so this is an opportunity for the woman to. Okay.
If not, she getting
if you truly are interested, you'll say something, and I completely forgot that because I am so I want to be pursued, and so for that reason. No, I just don't see. Now, I did remember at some point along the way, oh, wait, I'm supposed to message first. And so my messages were real lame, like, hi.
You see what guys have to go through.
I'm not a shooter. I'm tall, I can hike, but I don't shoot.
Okay.
All right. Well, Quentin, you in Chicago, so it may be a little bit different. You may have people shooting their shots all the time.
Yeah. Without interested, we gotta say too.
I would say I'm cool with women flirting, but I'm not crazy about women shooting their shot, right? So I think that, and the other thing is, most of the time, women that shoot their shot is the one that you don't want shooting anyway. So that's just me. That's just my experience. I mean, other folk may have a different experience, but I would say that I'm a little bit old school. My family's from the South, so I'm. You got
it. I could tell when we first met.
Yeah. So I'm country boy at heart. I live in the city, but I'm country boy at heart. So I'm that old school side of me is like, nah. I mean, I don't want her asking me to dinner. And I cringe whenever I see pictures on social media, women proposing to dudes. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing.
What's happening out there?
So I mean. I do believe that the man should pursue. I don't think it's anything wrong with a woman flirting or, kind of giving you the open door, right. Saying, okay, if you pursue, I'm going to run real slow.
Right? So, my anchor.
right. I'm gonna fall, acting like I tripped on a branch, and so you can catch me. But yeah, so I think that shooting a shot, no, flirting, I'm cool.
Okay. Well, I have a question. It's not on the list, but I do have a question. Okay. What is the craziest date you guys been on? Like the craziest date?
I think I know Bridgett. I think
Okay, there was a guy that I met through a friend, and we just really weren't really gelling, and we just kind of like, yeah, let's move on. Well, he wanted to, give it another shot. And one of the things about him, honestly, sometimes our conversation was just really boring at times.
Red flags.
And so, say that again.
He said red flags.
Yes, seriously. And so this particular day, he wanted to just, let's try again and go out to dinner. So we're out at dinner, and actually the conversation is going well, and I'm shocked. I'm like, okay, all right. And then in the middle of me talking, he says, I got something to show you. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was seeing something. We were actually having a good conversation, but, I'm thinking that in my head. And so he pulls out his phone and he shows me this slideshow presentation that he made with all of these couples from different TV shows and movies. And it's like the opening slide says something like the beginning, and all these scenes from movies and TV shows where they're having all this great time together. And then it says the hard times. And then, it's like Gina and Martin, when he was like, slamming the door on her when they broke up. And
it's a good episode.
And then it goes back to the breakups to makeups and all this. And I'm like, but we weren't even really together. We went on a couple of dates. And so for me, that was the most awkward experience ever, because I'm sitting there across.
He about to propose?
Where he showed me this whole thing, and I'm like, he said, I'm not sure.
Me too.
Hold on, do I need to call?
I'm not sure I understand, but I didn't understand either. I didn't understand where it came from. And then I still had a lot of food left to eat, so I still had to sit there through the awkwardness of it all.
Oh, he did it early, like during advertising.
That was the most awkward, in-person date that I've ever had.
Okay. Wow. So no proposal at the end. Like he was like, "Oh, that's a dope group project you got for class." Like, what was that about?
Okay. Oh wow.
Okay. Q.
So I don't have a lot of date horror stories. Like most of the crazy stuff that I've encountered has just been in regular conversation. The dates haven't. I don't have a lot of horror stories. I mean, for the most part, dates have been pretty smooth. I'm kind of a planner when it comes to dates, so I'll know where I'm taking her, what restaurant and things like that. So I'm kind of a planner in that way. So I try to avoid out any potential craziness
beforehand. Nope. Cut them off at the door.
I would say that I went on a blind date once. This is many years ago. My barber, this is way back because he's married and everything now, but he was dating a girl and he's like, yeah, she got this friend. And so I hadn't done a blind date before. I'm like, all right, you my guy. So we did. And the energy was just totally off like the whole time. And I'm just sitting there looking at my watch like, okay, I need out. Because it was just bad.
It was just horrible.
Conversation was just like, it was just, I'm just literally sitting there like, all right, we done yet? I don't need dessert. Like, yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So, and speaking of dating, because again, we've been out the game for a minute, but who pays? Like, who pays? Who typically pays? And then I have a follow-up question to that, but who pays?
Not me.
So you looking like
any date that I've been on, I pay.
Okay. So this is a follow-up question. Okay, for example, say like you're Bridgett.
Hold on, Dana. Let me say this. Okay. I don't believe in paying like initially. There will be times when I say, you know what?
Let's just do Dutch. Yeah.
Right. And that's fine. But like, if you're pursuing me, I need to know that you can.
That you're serious about that.
So, yeah.
Oh,
but
something.
This was one thing that I heard on a show yesterday. But like, for example, say like Bridgett, you and your friend girls go and like say like if you dated somebody and your friend girls want to meet the person, right? And so he takes you and your friend girls out. Well, you all meet up at a restaurant, right? Would you expect for him to pay for all of your friend girls as well? And so Quentin, the same thing. Say like if you're taking somebody out on a date, her friend girls want to meet you and you all go out, would you pay for everybody at the table? Let's just say it's just 5 girls. Let's just say it's 5 girls. Everybody go out. And so, and because it was a question I heard on the show yesterday, and I was like, oh, interesting.
If y'all ain't got your answer, let me know when my time.
I already know what your answer is going to be.
No, I don't expect that. If my friends want to meet him, I mean, that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. If he's like, hey, listen, you know, your friends are important to you, and I want them to see that I'm a good guy, and, you know, invite them along or something. Then maybe in that situation, maybe, but I don't really expect that he has to take the responsibility for other people. So I don't expect it. Okay.
Cute.
I haven't had experience of like a whole big group. I mean, but there have been instances where, you know, they had a friend or two with, and I'll pay. Do I think that's an expectation? I do that all the time. No. Mm-hmm. But you know, if I'm feeling generous, like sure. I mean, I'm going to always automatically pay for her.
Yeah. Sure.
But you know, friends is like, you know, that depending on what kind of mood I'm in.
Man, Dana said 5. Dana said 5.
Said 5 people.
And no, it was.
I'm like,
but no,
you got one or two friends.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe. So yeah, for sure.
But out, and you know, they order bottomless mimosas and all like
crab legs. They get crab legs. The whole Delta line, the whole Delta line.
That's a big line.
It was 132 girls. Ain't gonna be able to do it.
Okay, Jeff, what were you about
to say? If that's the case, I would take out a pack of crackers.
Bless this. Let's bless it. Everybody get one.
What were you about to say?
Mine was the fact I'm not exactly what you would do exactly. But my thing, I'm pursuing you. Like the thing is, I'm not pursuing the other AKAs, but I'm pursuing you. So if they got a dude or there's a dude here that see them and they want to get that, I don't want to block anybody's blessing to make things. Oh man, he can say with them. So I'm here for you in the lady, and so your friend, we have good company, laugh, ha, and kiki, enjoy ourselves. And then when the waitress, hey, will it be 1 ticket or you said 5 of the girls and us 2? That'll be 2 and I don't know what that. I mean 1 for us and then you know for that side. So yeah, I don't think the expectation there.
Okay. I think if the guy, you know, just offers to pay, that's, you know, awesome.
But it shouldn't be the expectation, right? Yeah.
He shouldn't be expected, but I think a good little medium maybe, hey, let me order appetizer for the table or something. You know, that way you're offering something without having to be responsible for all 6 other people at the table.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Just in case you got some private friends who are like, oh, he buying?
And it was interesting hearing the different feedback. Like some of the ladies was like, well, yeah, I would expect.
Oh, they expected?
Yeah, well, the letter was that it was her. She invited her friends out. They wanted to meet the guy, and they expected for him to pay.
She invited the other friends out.
Yeah, and they expected for him to pay. And I think some of the ladies that was on the particular show, they was just like, well, first of all, it shouldn't be an expectation. But they naturally do pick up the tab for everybody.
I think that's where, and it's fine if I'm feeling generous. It has to be whether I do it or not. It's on me to do it.
So I think it was the main thing. It was just an expectation. Like people shouldn't expect for anybody to pay for their meal either. You know, I mean, because otherwise you're gonna be sadly, you know, disappointed. You know, so.
And that's where like what we were talking about earlier. Like how many people in the population make that amount of money and still do all the other things you want. So it's like that's why I think seeing reality shows, different things have created this false person that does not exist, or they're up to their ears in credit card debt. They're like, "Whoo, let me if this is gonna swipe, all right, try these other 3 right here," and I'm trying to get through. And you can't financially get to a place that you can be comfortable with you and not trying to impress everybody else too. So if I'm feeling generous, yes, but don't order everything. Look down the table. We were at it was a friend of ours' birthday. And so it was the guy's birthday, right? So a group of us. We were younger, and then so a girl goes there. She's single, and so she orders this drink. She's like, "Hey, put in all the top shelf drinks in there, right?" So the bill comes at the end. I don't know who she was expecting to pay for it. So the bill comes, and she's like, "I don't have it." So she comes and says, "I don't have it at the end." So now, mind you,
what happened was every time they would send her the drink back, every time she was sending the drink back, they kept adding it to the tab because their whole thing was, well, you keep asking for it, and so like if it was like vodka, they'll add that. If it was tequila, so she thought she was sending it back. You know how you send stuff back and they'll take it off? No, they were adding it to the bill. So yeah, so of course this is a restaurant, so of course the more alcohol that you add, the higher your bill. I mean, y'all been around,
The receipt was like this. The receipt was like this right here. The receipt was like this. She was like, oh. Yeah. And so she didn't have it. She didn't have it. So everybody was like, man, so like food or something, like if you don't have food, that's different. But you ordering a special drink, you like, you didn't have to do that. You could have just had the conversation stuff. So I think somebody paid for it, but that's the point of like not expecting something to come out of that too. Another question is in terms of submission. That's something that is a buzz. There's a trigger word for some people. Submission in relationships. And some people, I know some ladies now that have great personality, great roles, great jobs, but they said they cannot submit to somebody else. They either have a negative connotation to it or something. So I will stop. What is your take on submission? Is it important? And either you submitting to them submitting to you, or any other combination of such. So I'll throw it out there. Submission, what comes to mind, and how big of a role is that for you in a single life?
I'm going to let the pastor start on that.
On the next episode of the Laugh, Learn, Love podcast with Mr. and Mrs. Mister.
Some people stayed together not out of love, but out of convenience. Right? So
mom too, I'm like, hey, I want some grandkids. Is there any pressure for you for sex? Do you feel any pressure?
All the time.
Circle. No, we ain't circling the wall. This is day 7. These walls won't fall down. Listen here. Okay.
Throw that thing in a circle. What you can do? Yes.
Let me stop. Right?
Subscribe. New episodes every Tuesday of the Laugh, Learn, Love podcast with Mr. and Mrs. Mister.